I also see that you've got a couple movies being finished up that'll be coming out sometime in the near future. You mentioned Out in the Light.
Yes.
Then there's Grace and On Death and Dying. Do you care to tell us anything about those? When we might see them, your experiences with them?
Absolutely. I'll tackle Grace and On Death and Dying real quick. Both of those are shorts that should be coming out again, hopefully this year. Because I'm not on the creative team for them, I don't really know exactly when you could see them, but I really love both those projects. In one, I play this professor who I think he actually like starts flirting with a student in this surreal dreamlike scene, but I actually think it turned out quite good.
That wasn't in your actor reel, was it?
Oh, it might have been. Yeah, a piece of it.
Where
Yes.
it's like a marketing subject and you're standing at the front of a class and you tell her it's time's up.
Yeah. You have
Okay,
seen
okay.
some
That
of it
did
then.
look interesting.
Yeah. So it's like something's off with this guy. If you've seen that scene, it's like what's wrong with this professor? Something's going on here. And then On Death and Dying is directed by Chelsea, who's in Girl Soup, but this wasn't a Girl Soup project. She just needed a voiceover artist for this project she was doing. So I really hope that that one too also comes out within the year, because I think that project's really great as well.
And I see that you're listed as a baritone, which I am also a baritone. So obviously you were the right choice for voiceover.
Thank you. Yes, yes.
Because we're the best of the bass world, but you can still understand what we're saying.
That that is so true. That is absolutely it. I'll tell you this though, I'll do a quick side thought there. Being a baritone and a bass in the acting world is this thing that everyone loves when they meet you. But then there's really not that many roles for you. It's more the tenors and these guys who can really just like belt and sing, and there's not many leads for baritones. So it's always been this thing where I'm like, I love being a baritone. I think this is awesome. But where are the acting roles for all the baritones? There's just not many, you know?
Man, that's tough. Well, Benedict Cumberbatch gets work.
That's true. So he's holding the torch for us, which is great.
That's right. Leading the way. Leading the way.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Out in the Light.
Oh, yes.
Can
I would love to chat about
that one.
I'd love to chat about that one briefly.
Okay.
Because that's a Girl Soup project. That is our first feature-length film. I did some acting in that. I just finished editing that this weekend. That's been a whole group thing through all of us divvying up editing duties. So it's taken, I want to say, close to 5 or 6 months to get this first edit done. So that's been a big journey for us. And then also on the day, being on the Girl Soup team, acting as producer on this film, I'm also filling holes wherever we needed them. If we needed a PA, boom, I'm PAing. If we needed someone to do art direction, I did art direction. I did a little very minor carpentry on the set too, just these very little things. So I'm very, very proud of just what I brought to that film. I'm very proud of the project as a whole. I think we all really brought our best work. But for that project, we shot it last August. It is a folk horror movie. It's a story of this mother and daughter who practice the Appalachia witchcraft known as Braucherei, which is a healing witchcraft. This is an entirely real school of witchcraft. It's the story of Rachel, who's the daughter, and she starts to realize that there's more than just this school of witchcraft. There was also what her grandmother practiced, which was hexerei, which is kind of the yin and the yang to Braucherei. Rachel is now conflicted with, do I follow my very strict mother and what she's teaching me? Do I learn this sort of forbidden witchcraft from my grandmother? And all the while, it's also revealed that their family is haunted by this spirit of guilt called a Veit, which is this specter in, I think it's German folklore, or I should say Pennsylvania Dutch folklore. And that was a role that I got to tackle, which was really nutty and cool because they essentially put this cloak on me that made me look almost like the ghost of Christmas past, if you can imagine how that's traditionally portrayed. But where we had a unique spin on it, I think, is we had these really articulate hands that were essentially puppets. They extended my fingers out to here, and we made them look as real as we could, and I think it reads great on screen. It looks like wood. If you can imagine these hyper articulate, very long, spindly wooden hands over a cloaked figure. That was what my monster looked like. And so I got to essentially be in these scenes where I'm like haunting the cast and doing a voice or all this really, really cool stuff. It was such a blast. Now we're at the point where we're wrapping up our first cut of the film and we're hoping to have it completely done by September and get it out to film festivals, get it out to the world is our hope.
Awesome. Because when I was looking up the details on that and I saw that you were playing the monster, I guess, without knowing any more about the movie, you get to play the monster. And based on what you told me that you enjoyed watching while you were younger and what you still enjoy now, how cool is that? You get to play the monster and you get cool special effects to go with it.
Yeah, it is actually a dream role to be the monster in a movie. You know, it's awesome.
Exactly. And you only got to do it because you went out and put points on the board until you got here.
Yeah, it's true. You know, Girl Soup really tries to cast ourselves. And then when we don't have a role for our immediate team to fill, then we'll work with friends. And usually there are no auditions. I think we've only done audition rounds for once. It was for Rachel, the lead in our film. But we really foster working with friends and working with people we trust.
So, of all the performances you've given to date, can you pick a favorite one that you just loved doing more than any of the others?
And this excludes my time in school as well.
Any.
Oh, could
Any
be any.
performance
Could be
you've
any.
ever given.
So I'm actually going to jump back to school,
Do it.
believe it or not, even though I'm very proud of commercials and theater I've done outside of school as well. I was the perfect age. I had the perfect look, and I was just in the right spot to play the gentleman caller in the Glass Menagerie. And I think it was just one of those things where I don't know how familiar you are with Glass Menagerie, but that role is a guy who grew up and he was kind of the funny guy in high school. And then he gets a job in radio, I think. He was starting to go through a dark period, but then found his voice in radio and found a new life and a new passion for himself, passion for living. And all of that is just bubbling underneath this character who's kind of charming and kind of funny and all this. And it just fits so closely to my personal life. I've just fallen in love with that role. And I really, I hope one day I would be able to play it professionally. But I do think I might have aged out of it, which is a reality too, which is a reality to acting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because he's supposed to be 21. And look, I don't look 21 anymore.
I think you could do it. Just maybe cover up a little bit of the gray and you'll be good to go.
Okay, maybe.